The interview tonight is someone I've been very much looking forward to talking to. Sinead O'Connor joins us from Dublin.
Thanks for having me. Thanks.
You called for accountability for the church at a time when almost no other public figures were doing that. Do you feel like you're starting to see accountability now?
Well, I don't think we're really seeing proper accountability now. I mean, accountability would be for the Vatican to admit that there was a cover-up orchestrated by Central Command. The fact is that the Boston report, the Philadelphia report, the 3 reports done in Ireland were done all independently of each other, the 4 corners of the earth. Each report concluded the same thing, that there was a cover-up in each diocese. Everyone behaved the same way. If that hadn't been orchestrated by Central Command, there would be differences in how each diocese had handled the matter, and as it happens, they all behaved without exception in exactly the same way when dealing with complaints, which was they transferred abusive priests in or out, they put pressure on families and victims not to go to the police, and the conclusion of all of those reports is that the Church's concern was for the preservation of its assets and its reputation above the caring of children. So, the only thing that I think would make anyone happy and which would honour not only the victims but the Holy Spirit who these people claim to be representing would be for them to actually admit that there was an orchestrated cover-up and get out of office and let us have a church which is run by people who actually believe in God.
The Vatican, sort of awkwardly, is a country. The Pope is a head of state, and that makes thinking about legal justice here complicated. Also, in terms of theological doctrine, there really isn't accountability for the Church from outside the Church. How important do you think it is that abuse be handled as a legal matter by secular authorities, by the police, instead of within Church rules?
Well, I mean, it's very, very poor that these people were allowed to live by their own laws, and this is where we need to call into question the child protection laws of each land. Now, I only know about my own country, but right up until today, it is not mandatory that anyone knowing abuse is taking place should go to the police. So if I know my next-door neighbour is abusing his child, I'm not under any actual legal obligation to go to the police, which is incredible but true. So there is a part to play on the part of all our governments here, all over the world in dealing with this issue, that it's important to look at what are the child protection laws in your country regarding this matter. And yeah, the thing is, I think that, the Vatican is it's a 15th century organisation. It's a medieval organisation, and what we're seeing here is the battle between medieval thinking and 21st century thinking. That if they want to survive into the 21st century, they're going to have to become a 21st century business, which means that they are first of all, those who have brought the Holy Spirit and Catholicism into total disrepute should be fired. Whoever was involved in the cover-up of child abuse and therefore endangering children should be fired. The Pope should be fired, or should stand down. There should be a criminal investigation of the Vatican and of the Pope. They should all get out and let us in the 21st century choose who we think is fit to run our church, because it is ours, it's not theirs. It shouldn't be any more this black smoke, white smoke nonsense, where it's them and us. It's our church. I think we need to reclaim it, and we need to have it run by people who actually believe in God.
When you have allowed yourself as an artist to be such a lightning rod on this issue, just by putting yourself out publicly and talking about it, not only in personal terms but in very political terms, it was always interesting to me that people took that to mean that you were no longer Catholic, or that you were an atheist, or that you that people essentially took it as an opportunity to question your faith. I wonder if you still encounter that, if you have any reflections on that.
Well, no. I mean, I think anyone that really knows me or whatever would know that, in fact, I would have taken that action and still continue to take all of this action because I believe passionately in the Holy Spirit, and I'm in love passionately with the Holy Spirit. I feel the Holy Spirit is being held hostage by the people who are presently running the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church is full of beautiful people, men and women, who've given up their whole lives, who serve human beings. They do nothing but love. But those people also are being betrayed portrayed by the people who are running the church. Now, I would say I passionately believe in the Holy Spirit. I believe all of us who believe in that Spirit should be standing up now to defend that Spirit and rescue it from these people. And sometimes I'm not asked, do I believe in God, but I'm asked, am I anti-Catholic? And my answer to that is no, but the people who are running the Vatican actually are. That they've brought Catholicism into a disgraceful state of disrepute, where now when people hear the word Catholic, they think, they shudder, they think of nothing but abuse. So it's, that would be the only question that people ask me is, am I anti-Catholic? I would say absolutely not, but those in charge are.
Why? One last question for you about your activism on this. Why did you write this op-ed recently for the Washington Post? I wonder why you think the American media is important here, and how you think in this global scandal the American public and the American media have been important.
Well, I was talking to your researcher there last night, and I have to say, on behalf of all of the Irish survivors, that they and I and anyone involved in the campaign is so grateful to the American media, because, you all have leapt in just at the right moment. After Pope Benedict's letter came, that's why I then wrote to the Washington Post. I was disgusted by this letter, which actually referred to the priests, the bishops who covered up, as being a well-intentioned desire to protect the church. What on earth was well-intentioned about it? The letter is a study in the art of lying. It suggests that the Irish hierarchy were acting independently of the Vatican. The letter and their actions have not punished at all those people who were accomplices by silence to the crime of child abuse. None of them have been fired. It looks very bad that the Pope hasn't fired all of them and said, how dare you bring us into disrepute. That looks like the House of the Holy Spirit has become a haven for moral criminals. But as I say, just at the right moment, America stepped in. The New York Times piece, Boston Globals have stepped in, and now a lot of the victims, I was just sitting with some of them this morning, were saying, almost with tears in their eyes, sitting back saying, well, we've been 40 years now trying to bang the door down here, and now we can sit back and relax because the American media have taken it on board, and it's their baby now, for want of a better, pardon the pun, But we're enormously grateful in Ireland for what the American media are doing, because we know that Americans don't take any nonsense and they don't take any prisoners, and there's no way that the Vatican are going to get off the hook now that the Americans are after you. So thank you very much.
Sinead O'Connor, thank you very much for joining us tonight and for your continued dogged activism on the subject. Really nice to talk to you. Thank you.
Before we all started having health care in the olden days, our grandparents, they would bring a chicken to the doctor. They would say, I'll paint your house.
In the chicken house? I will paint the chicken, and I will give when the chicken is sick, I will. Little did Nevada Republican Senate candidate Sue Loudon suspect that her chickens for health care brainstorm would quickly metastasize into a stimulus package for the satire industry. Let 1,000 chicken jokes bloom. Por ejemplo, this website called loudonplan.com calculates various medical procedures into chicken. According to this, a tonsillectomy will cost you 907 chickens, which is very inconvenient. Unable to put the chicken back in the bottle, Republicans are now trying to blame Sue Loudon's opponent for Senate, Harry Reid, the Democrat. They're trying to blame him for the chicken thing. The Republican Senate campaign spokesman Brian Walsh told TPM, quote, watching the Senate Majority Leader get down in the mud and desperately try to inject farm animals into his flailing re-election bid is frankly a bit pathetic. Unlike, say, using the phrase inject farm animals to rebut chicken proposals told by your candidate. But before we embrace Loudon's poultry for healthcare scheme, we should perhaps heed this warning about chicken from Bolivia's president, Evo Morales. President Morales says that chicken producers inject birds with hormones and that, quote, when men eat those chickens, they experience deviances in being men. You know what he means. Chicken makes you gay. So when it comes time to pay your male doctor, if you don't want him to turn gay, you should pay him with something else, like bacon. If he's already gay, maybe go ahead and pay him in chicken. What's done is done. This barter thing is going to be very complicated, but it's totally going to work. That does it for us tonight. We will see you again Monday night. Check out our blog, which is maddowblog.msnbc.com.